Rockstar is to game developers what Jared Fogle is to pedos. A famous example that has way too many gigabytes. With series like Red Dead Redemption and Grand Theft Auto dominating the 21st century, it's hard to deny Rockstar's influence. But in a catalog of total bangers, there's one game that's been completely lost to time. A game you have to dig up at the Walmart bargain bin. Hey, there's Black Ops 7. And that game is Bully. Set in the fictional town of Bullworth, Bully is the story of Jimmy Hopkins and his boarding school adventures dismantling the unjust school class system. We're talking math class, we're talking fist fights, we're talking kissing girls, or anybody with a mod. Apparently, this user on Nexus Mod claims that this was his gay awakening. Congrats. Bully is a sandbox to do whatever you want until you either get caught for skipping school or get too sweepy and pass out. The story is told in chapters over the course of an entire school year, so the seasons literally change as you progress. And by the time chapter 3 rolls around, so do the holidays, and Bullworth completely transforms into Santa's bedsock. Ugh. And that's exactly why I'm going to convince you with 3 banging reasons why Bully is Rockstar's coziest game. Number 1, the snow. There's just something about low fidelity snow in old games. I could stand here and stare at it for hours. The snow itself is quite unassuming and looks to be very powdery, like a light snow happened overnight. Walking through the courtyards leaves small footprints behind that don't last long. After all, Rockstar didn't exactly have the same tools that they did for Red Dead 2 snow. But I think the lack of footprints on the ground adds to the liminal, almost magical nature of this snow. For example, the football field is just a blanket of white. Even though there are joggers running around and girls standing in the middle of the field, there are no footprints anywhere. And that's really cool. It looks like a memory of snow or a painting rather than a lived-in world. It reminds me of waking up early as a kid when it snowed and seeing the pristine, fresh white snow on the ground, then tearing that shit up 10 minutes later. But that's not to say all the snow has been untouched. Some of the pathways behind the school have tire tracks all over it. Walking down a snowy path meant for cars here feels more creepy than it does cozy. Like, we shouldn't be here, and we're heading somewhere bad or scary. In this case, it just leads to an overturned tree blocking our path, but still, kind of creepy. I will say, I walked up and down this path for a long time, just taking it all in, getting my in-game footsteps, and then I thought to myself, where are all the cars? The tire tracks are deep and look like constant traffic has been flowing in and out, but I never saw a single one. I'm pretty sure this area is included in one of the bike races, so other than that, and like rubber band collecting for my collectors out there, there is no point to be back here for Jimmy or really any of the cars. It's crazy how different 2 areas can feel just based on what surrounds you. The football field is a wide open space that feels nostalgic, while the back road feels like a place you'd get stabbed. And while I was walking down the path, I couldn't help but look up at the trees lined all around the border. There are 2 different types of trees during Christmas: normal green trees or snow-covered trees. That's it. And as I continued walking, I found another path behind the school that had only green trees. None of them were covered in snow. Pretty cool, but this whole area feels like so out of place. I also made my way into the city on my skateboard when I noticed that I was kind of sliding around a little bit more than usual, so that got me thinking. Does the snow affect the drivers of Bullworth? To answer this question, I placed Jimmy in 2 high traffic areas and watched. Many of the drivers are completely insane, driving in the grass, riding bumper to bumper, honking a lot. At first, it looked like I was onto something here. Cars didn't appear to be necessarily slipping, but the driving itself was pretty terrible. To find out if the driving was bad all year, I changed the season to summer using a mod and stood in the same places. Turns out, drivers suck year-round. Experiment failed. I was also able to use the same mod to fly around Bullworth and see where else the snow may have been. Most of the roofs were clear, which was kind of weird. You'd expect the snow to be on that as well, you know? And of course, I had to go check the theme park. Something that was really cool was that each individual wood plank on the roller coaster track had snow on it. Why? I don't know, but pretty neat. Overall, the snow in Bully is quite low-key. You aren't finding mounds of it around the map. It's supposed to be the sidekick to the main meal. Admittedly, looking at snow is a fun but fairly aimless exercise, which is exactly why Rockstar added 4 special missions during Chapter 3. Let's move on to reason number 2, Christmas-themed missions. In the special and anniversary editions of Bully, they added 4 Christmas missions to the experience. The first we're going to talk about is called Nutcrackin'. Jimmy is approached by a frantic Miss Peters, the music teacher, because one of her students in the Christmas pageant has appendicitis. Come on, man. She begs Jimmy to take his place and save the pageant, but Jimmy refuses. He's like, hell no. That's when she pulls out the big guns. If Jimmy walks away, she's gonna fail him in music class, so basically Jimmy is forced to withstand humiliation for a passing grade. It's a tragic life here. What happens next is the most riveting 4 minutes of left trigger, right trigger gameplay you've ever seen. You just have to follow the rhythm of a mashup of old Christmas songs, or literally just hit the correct trigger when the arrow is in the box. You don't even need to listen to the music. God, I love Christmas. Okay. Nutcrackin' kinda blows, but thankfully the next 3 missions are in a series, call it a trilogy if you will, involving the drunken Santa Rudy and his rise to power. The first is called Balls of Snow, and it starts when Jimmy finds Rudy down on his luck in an alley. The world has taken everything, and the only solace is at the end of a bottle. He tells Jimmy that the townies have been tormenting him with snowballs. Oh. So out of pity, we're gonna get revenge. We climb to a pile of snow on a building and start an air raid of townies walking and riding bikes down the street. And after hitting 10, Rudy is just so elated that he passes out with joy. Part 2 is called Miracle on Bullworth Street. Jimmy finds Rudy taking a hot pisser in another alleyway, and he tells us that there is an imposter Santa at the big tree charging money for photos, and in doing so, stealing all of Rudy's money. That's that hustler mentality right there, baby. So Rudy makes us his muscle by giving us a bat and instructing us to take out this imposter. And so we do. We destroy the presents, the candy canes, the castle, the trees, the damn Iron Throne itself. Even the little elf dudes get a little bit of the action. And after the hit, we run away and leave all the evidence behind. We are a ghost in the wind. And that leaves us with the third and final part called Rudy the Red-Nosed Santa. The plan has manifested. Rudy has turned this alley into a Christmas junkyard, trying to make it festive and enticing enough for the kids to come see Santa. He sends us off to find any trash around to make it more sparkly. So we run around trash cans and try to evade a dog and the remaining little elves in the process. Upon returning, the business is set up and we can finally start raking in the dough. Let's go, man. And for the final part, we have to take pictures of the kids with Santa when they're smiling to make Rudy propaganda, I guess. And who the hell is letting their kids sit on this man's lap in an alleyway? I just don't understand. I don't. Once you've hit your quota, the mission is over, we get some cash, and a wonderful little elf outfit, and we're sent on our way. While the missions are fairly short, I really like that this tells a bit of a story instead of just random one-offs like the school pageant. I think it's perfect for the Christmas season vibe, something low stakes, goofy, and of course, festive. A drunken Santa's rise to power just feels so Rockstar. While the missions itself aren't necessarily by definition cozy, the vibe, the nostalgia, and the festivities combine in a way that spits out that cozy feeling. But Rudy's rise and the snow aren't even the best parts. Oh no. Which brings us to reason number 3, decorations and the changing world. The best part about the seasons in Bully is that everything adapts around you. The boys' dorm has wreaths and festive shrubbery lined all along the ceiling frames, lights are strung up on the walls, and the main lounge area has its own Christmas tree in the corner. It's lovely. Since this game is so old, a lot of the textures are quite bad, especially the lights and some of the wreaths, but it's the thought that counts, and the shitty quality now just adds a little bit of extra nostalgia to it, if you will. If you can manage going outside at night without getting caught, there is a world of Christmas at your disposal. The boys' roof is lined with lights and a neon sign with a Santa and 2 little reindeer. Oh, it's so cute up there. Wow, just love it. The girls' dorm has candy canes on the front, and all around the main campus you can find snowmen, Christmas trees, and more Santas glowing in the night. And speaking of snowmen, the creatively inclined students have made their own everywhere. I mean, you can't walk 20 feet without seeing one on the ground and getting the itch to ram your shoulder into it and destroy it. I also wanted to see what the inside of the school would look like, and it was pretty basic. Christmas trees are placed around without too much thought, but where are the lights? The wreaths? A hot cocoa stand? Come on, we should have gone all out here, people, damn! The outside looks really good, but the inside of the building is kind of a letdown, I must say. My hope is that the townspeople have worked a little bit harder on their Christmas spirit, so let's go take a look. I took my skateboard and rode around town to look at the houses first. Some have lights, some don't. I think my main problem with the lights is that they aren't very bright, so it can be hard to notice. But I do appreciate that not every house has lights. In that aspect, it mirrors real life a little bit. But in the middle of town is the big Christmas tree. It just makes me want to bust out into song. Don't you dare. And down by the movie theater, there is also another tree. And I think I may prefer this one a little more because of the setup and the location. It's located in a shopping center and has trees covered in lights routing you directly to it. Whereas the other tree is just plopped in the middle of the town with not much of a supporting cast to add to it. And while I can appreciate having 2 large trees, one is kind of neglected, I can't lie. Not only does the world completely transform around you, but the people that inhabit the world also change. NPCs will start wearing scarves, coats, gloves, pants, your basic winter clothes. You'll also find more hobo Santas roaming around and people trying to find warmth. And the best way to find warmth is by going inside. So I checked out one of the stores and realized it had no decorations inside. So now I need to answer a really important question. Which local establishment has the most Christmas spirit? We're gonna go into all of the available markets, barbers, and bike shops to see who's caught the Christmas bug. My first stop was at Yum Yum Market, a place where you can essentially buy ammo for your food-related weapons, and would you look at that? They have a Christmas tree inside. In fact, all of the Yum Yum markets across the entire map have trees inside. Well done, love it. However, this is where things would be taking a dark turn. None of the barbers, like the Happy Mullet or Final Cut, have any Christmas spirit. Neither do the bike shops. And the Dragon's Wing comic store is also Christmas vacant. What gives, guys? Come on. And just for fun, because I know these aren't local businesses, but the gym and the safe house by the dock also has no Christmas spirit. What is going on here? I was defeated. But that was until I walked inside Aquaberry. And wow, they have really outdone themselves. Just take a look around. Multiple Christmas trees, wreaths, and lights at the counter and all around the ceiling. If it's not obvious already, Aquaberry is easily the most festive business in Bullworth. Thanks for having so much Christmas spirit. The other vendors need to take notes. It's the holidays. You could at least have a candle out or something. If you took away one of these 3 aspects from Bully's holiday chapter, I don't think it's as cozy or effective. You need all 3 to come together to make a cohesive, festive experience, and over 15 years later, it still works beautifully. Replaying Chapter 3 and getting lost in Bullworth for hours to make this video was such a blast, and I hope I was able to convince you why this is Rockstar's coziest game. It's the holiday season, people are feeling nostalgic, and I asked all of you what your favorite cozy game was. These right here are all of your responses, so I encourage you to try someone else's cozy game and see if you find something you fall in love with. Nostalgia is really powerful, but I want the point of this to be to move forward. Make some new memories, create that next nostalgic moment to look back on 10 years from now, and make a video essay about it. Fuck it. Bully, and more specifically Chapter 3, will always be one of the coziest experiences I've had, not only during a Rockstar game, but in gaming in general. If you've never played Bully, I implore you to try it because I haven't even really scratched the surface of all the content in this game, but it's really fun and has a lot of personality. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for an incredible 2025. My name is Zaldeyy. Stay warm out there. See ya.